Eden Zero episode 24, the last episode before the season finale, which is going to be next week. Because if you guys did not know, Eden Zero will be having only 25 episodes for the first season. So yeah, sadly Eden Zero is sadly going to come to an end soon, and this is the second last episode. So here we are. Hey guys, what is going on? It is Gear and here, and in today's video we are going to be reviewing Eden Zero episode 24, which is Take Up the Torch. Sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoyed this video, because I gotta admit, this one was very an emotional episode and a lot of the character development happened in this one episode. So what happened at the beginning? Well, it gave a quick recap of what happened in the previous episode about how Shiki went one-man army versus Madame Kurenai, went on to face off her robot, and about how Arsenal was created by Wise and how he was able to defeat one of Kurenai's minions, and it was an interesting battle. Then it returns back to the present day where the Arsenal suit has come off Wise, and let's just say it took his clothes with him, so he's now fully naked and now he is literally wearing no clothes in the middle of a war. So then he asks Rebecca to borrow her skirts just because he's literally wearing nothing, and then as let's just say Rebecca's saying no, she remembers the Valkyrie's minion took, well, let's just say something very private of Rebecca. So yeah, she just remembered that right now in the middle of the war. So then Wise asks one of the guys, because one of the guys that were fighting the battle said that good job defeating that minion, go back to the warehouse to go get some clothes and come back out so you can refill us on our ammo. So then Rebecca and Wise go to the warehouse to change their clothes, because let's just say they need of some new clothes for the battle that's coming ahead. So then it goes to Shiki and Kurenai, where Shiki is having a very tough time fighting off this giant robot, and he is literally being pinned to the ground, and Madame Kurenai is just boasting about it in her robot. Then what happens is Shiki tries to use his ether gear on the actual robot itself, but he soon realizes that for some reason his ether gear is not working on the robot, and the reason for that is because Madame Kurenai has coated the robot in this weird type of ether coating where literally any type of ether gear will not be working on it. So it's literally like magic resistance, you could say, and no ether gear or anything ether related can damage this robot. So then Shiki thinks on the move where he actually, let's just say he thought very quickly, because in that moment he thought, fine, I cannot do it to the robot, but I can damage the ground and everywhere else. So he decided to make the ground heavier, and by doing so they both fell into this giant hole. And lo and behold, what was below the hole? Well, it was the actual labor district. So it looks like the massive city that is like the gold city on the upper side is literally the main outside of the planet, and on the inside it looks like it's just the main labor district, so it's just covered up by the actual gold city. So yeah, let's just say it's a little bit surprising to see that, but then Kurenai is pissed off that Shiki did that, because he literally dragged her to the actual labor district, and now they have to continue their battle there. So then Shiki goes on the offense. He starts to attack the robot, and let's just say he does something very surprising, which even Kurenai is a little shocked about. So he tries to attack, but none of his attacks are going through. So what he does is he lands a very hard punch at the robot, which actually damages it. And then Kurenai notices something. She notices that he did actually build up his ether gear in his arm and in his fist, but then at the last moment he released all of that ether gear from his hand. So literally he sacrificed his hand to do some damage against the robot. So he's literally using a normal hand to punch this giant robot. Now thinking about that way, it does make sense, because if you can't fight the monster with ether gear, you can only fight it using normal fists and everything. So he literally took off the ether gear from his hand to fight off the robot. So he's gonna be using a lot of his body to try and destroy this robot without any ether gear. So it's gonna be a bloody battle for him up ahead. Then it goes to Rebecca and Wise, where they are in the warehouse getting into their new clothes, and as Rebecca is putting on the new stuff and Wise is trying to go meet up to continue the battle, the door that is between Rebecca and Wise for some reason is locked. And what happens is Rebecca turns around when she has a gun in her hand, and she says, who is that over there? And who is it? Well, it is none other than your boy Nino, the guy that I would keep saying that anime will save the universe. He is behind Rebecca, and just like he mentioned, he is part of Madame Kurenai's business, you could say. So he literally has to follow her orders, and her orders were to lock down the warehouse so that none of the ammo or weapons can come out of it to help in this war. So that means they would be starving the soldiers of ammo, which literally they will be sitting ducks if they do not have that ammo. So then, after Rebecca is thinking about that, she starts to, let's just say she starts to think, why are you doing this, Nino? What is your main reason for doing this? And Nino, sadly, even though he is a sick guy, he just says, well, I cannot do it because Madame Kurenai has ordered me to do it, and she is the ruler of this world. So I cannot defy her in that way. So then it's going to be Rebecca versus Nino. And Nino, it looks like he can actually use ether gear. So Rebecca versus Nino is a very interesting battle because Nino's ether gear is cybernetic hands where he can actually move them around like they're like robots, but it's ether gear form. So literally he creates it, and it is just like him punching around and everything. So it's going to be a tough battle for Rebecca because Happy is literally chained out of ether gear. So she has to use a normal gun versus Nino, and it's going to be a very tough battle for her because she has to use a normal guns versus ether gear. And let's just say normal guns versus ether gear, that does not work. So then Rebecca realizes that as she's fighting Nino, because as she is dodging his attacks and shooting back, the arm that's just protecting him, and Nino launches a very powerful punch towards Rebecca. But as he is punching towards Rebecca, it goes in a slow motion where Rebecca starts to have this odd feeling where she was fighting a fellow beekeeper that uses his fist. And then as she is remembering, and she gets punched by the actual Nino's cybernetic fist, and she's getting pushed backwards, and as she's getting pushed backwards, it looks like she actually was able to remember Xiaomei. So remember the person in a couple of episodes ago where she hosted this giant tournament to see everyone fight? Rebecca actually remembered that Xiaomei actually did this type of battle scenarios versus the crew. So like how Shiki was versus this armored guy, Wise was versus this very fast guy, and now Rebecca is versus the same guy that uses like this barrier shield and fists. All too much similarities between that, and even on top of that, Rebecca remembers that Homura was versus Valkyrie, and she starts to think, why did that happen? Well, she's probably thinking that since Valkyrie died, that was probably the last time them two would ever meet. So then she starts to think, okay, so that probably means just like the inner battle that Homura must have because Valkyrie is sadly dead. So it makes you think, how much does Xiaomei know? Because she literally predicted the future, gave the crew some hints and tips on how to fight their future battles, and literally it was actually very, very confusing. And let's just say Rebecca noticing that in the middle of her battle, it caused something to happen within her. What happened was, it looks like Rebecca has actually been able to unlock her ether gear. And what happened is, straight away after that moment, time started to rewind backwards, and everything was starting to rewind all the way before the punch even landed on Rebecca. And then Rebecca was just standing as she was before she got punched. Then what happened is, everything just happened again like a deja vu. Nino started to punch Rebecca yet again, and as he did, let's just say Pino was shouting, why are you standing still, Rebecca? And even though Rebecca remembers this and had something similar happen like this before, she still does get punched, but not in a way you think, because she actually leaps backwards to to dodge the attack but make it look like she got punched. And Nino notices this, and now it is finally the debut of Rebecca's ether gear, which apparently is her legs. So apparently she can move really fast with her leg ether gear, and she's able to attack Nino using her legs because she remembers the battle that she had on Xiaomei's planet, and she uses that to defeat Nino. And then she labels the ether gear as Leap. And then Wise comes in, of course. Rebecca boasts off about her ether gear, and let's just say Wise is a little bit surprised knowing about that, and it's a very, very interesting weapon Rebecca has, because then what happens is, it goes off to a little clip where Xiaomei is saying Rebecca has finally unlocked her leap power, and it's not just that where she can go super fast, she has not yet unlocked the true potential of her leap power, and I am guessing she also has the power to leap back in time before any attack lands, and that is another part of her power that she has yet to unlock, because even Shomei says that Rebecca's power has the ability to save the universe. So that has got to be some awesome power that Rebecca has, and it's great to see it just before the season finale. So then what happens after that is it goes back to Homura, where she is standing at Valkyrie's, dead robot body, and then Homura is just thinking like, what should I do? She starts to think about what Shiki said to her, and then she just snaps out of it and then just realizes where she is and that she needs to go fight the war that is going on around her. But as she tries to get up, it looks like she can't move her legs, and what happens? Well, the guy in the other episode, remember the guy that paralyzed Shiki's and Homura's legs, it looks like he came in out of nowhere, and he literally, when he attacked her for the first time a couple of episodes ago, he applied two drugs. So the first drug was a fast acting drug to numb her legs, but the other one was a slow one. So it looks like the slow drug that he, let's just say, injected into her is starting to come into fruition, and now he is able to attack Homura and she's not able to fight back because she's literally, her legs are so numbed out. So then the guy starts to desecrate Valkyrie's body by, let's just say, hitting her head off and doing some other weird stuff. And Homura, well, she's taking none of that. She uses her hidden ultimate secret technique, which was called Odin Strike, and using that Odin Strike she was able to she was able to do some sort of attack, but it didn't affect the guy. But what her real objective was when the guy came up behind her and tied her around so that she could use her ether gear, what he didn't realize was that Valkyrie's sword was missing. So Homura's real objective wasn't to attack the guy, it was to get Valkyrie's sword from her, knock her up into the sky so that when he comes around her and locks her ether gear, the sword will just fall down and literally stab him, which is what happened. So that guy has been fully defeated, and it was a little bit of a bloody scene. So then the episode ends off with such a high note where Homura, it looks like she's actually snapped out of it. She's back now, and she starts to, let's just say, she starts to be moving forward with Valkyrie's death. She's starting to move forward and carry on the torch that her teacher left her. What an episode, and sadly that is Eden Zero episode 24. I know, just one more episode left and then Eden Zero season 1 is finished. But you guys, let me know down below, what was your favourite moment in Eden Zero episode 24? I will admit my favourite moment was when Rebecca unlocked her leap power ether gear. That was a sick moment. But you guys, let me know down below your favourite moment, and if you enjoyed the video and want to see more, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any videos I upload in the near future. Thank you guys for watching this video, take care and peace.